Chosen one, hear this loud and clear: the money you lost is coming back, multiplied beyond your wildest dreams. Today, you stand at the precipice of a divine encounter, one that promises not only a restoration of what was once gone but an abundance that far surpasses your past losses. You're not here by chance. Every step of your journey has led you to this very moment, where the heavens declare that your financial struggles are ending, and what was taken is returning with increase. In the silence of your heart, amid the trials and tribulations of life, there comes a time when you sense that there is something greater waiting just around the corner, a hope that transforms despair into joy. Now is that time. God has orchestrated a series of blessings so powerful that, like a flood breaking through the dam, they will wash over your life, renewing your spirit and reviving your dreams. This is more than just financial recovery, it's a testament to divine favor, a promise that every setback you faced is about to be turned into a monumental comeback. Reflect on the challenges you've encountered, the sleepless nights worrying over bills, the weight of debts that seemed impossible to overcome, and the lingering feeling that perhaps the universe had forgotten you. But today, let those memories be transformed into symbols of endurance. They are the stepping stones that have prepared you for this extraordinary moment. Your journey, marked by resilience and faith, has not been in vain. For it is now that you reap the rewards of perseverance, for God is turning your losses into a multiplied return that will leave you in awe of His goodness. Imagine a life where every cent lost is restored, where every sacrifice you made is rewarded 100-fold. Picture a cascade of blessings, an overflow of abundance that redefines what prosperity means to you. This divine promise is not just a fleeting hope, it is a declaration from above that your life is about to be transformed. As you stand here today, embrace this vision with open arms. Feel the surge of hope pulsing through your veins, and know deep within that you are destined for greatness. Your financial struggles are merely the prelude to a symphony of prosperity and joy. And so, if this resonates with your soul, if you believe in the power of divine restoration and the promise of a multiplied comeback, let your heart speak up. Hit that like button, share this message with those who need to hear it, and prepare to witness a miraculous turnaround in your life. Consider this a call to action, not just for the betterment of your finances, but for the awakening of your spirit. Let this be the spark that ignites a fire of unwavering faith and unstoppable determination. Today, you are called to step into a future that is brimming with promise. The money you lost is coming back, multiplied, and with it comes the assurance that every hardship was merely a setup for a future overflowing with blessings. Stand tall, embrace the divine intervention at hand, and know that your breakthrough is not just possible, it is inevitable. Chosen one, this is your time. Embrace the miracle that is about to unfold, and let your life be a living testament to the unstoppable power of divine grace and abundance. I know that the sting of loss is all too real, every one of you has faced it in one way or another. You've lost money, whether it was due to a bad decision made in a moment of desperation, betrayal by someone you trusted, or simply the hard times that life sometimes throws our way. I get it, those moments hurt. They leave deep marks on our hearts and wallets, and it's perfectly okay to feel the weight of them. Your losses are not just numbers on a bank statement, they are memories of struggle, moments of doubt, and the echoes of pain that still reverberate in your life. But here's the good news, every dollar that has been lost was not wasted, it was a seed planted for a divine harvest. Think about it. Just as a seed must break apart to grow into something beautiful and bountiful, every loss you endured was preparing you for an incredible comeback. Your tears, your sleepless nights, your moments of despair, they were all the fertile ground in which a future of abundance is now taking root. God hasn't forgotten your struggles. In fact, He sees every drop of your sorrow and is already orchestrating a repayment that far exceeds what you once lost. I want you to understand that this isn't merely about getting even with the past, it's about transformation and multiplication. Imagine a time when what you once saw as failure becomes the cornerstone of your prosperity. It's not about a simple restoration but an exponential return, a multiplication of your blessings that will leave you astonished. Yes, the pain was real, and the losses were heavy, but they are also the foundation upon which a new beginning is built. Remember, it's okay to mourn what has been lost. Grieve if you must, but also allow yourself to believe in the promise of renewal. In those quiet moments of reflection, when the darkness seems overwhelming, hold on to the truth that each loss was a stepping stone toward a brighter future. Your financial setbacks are not the end of your story, they are the prologue to a narrative filled with hope, faith, and unimaginable abundance. So, take a moment to acknowledge your losses. Look back at them with honest eyes, knowing that each experience has taught you something valuable, shaping you into a person capable of receiving divine favor. And now, as you stand on the brink of this new season, know that God is about to turn your past misfortunes into a future overflowing with blessings. He is repaying you, not just for what was lost, but in a way that multiplies your wealth and enriches your life beyond measure. This is your turning point, a moment when every tear, every setback, and every lost dollar transforms into the building blocks of a prosperous future. Embrace the journey, trust the process, and allow yourself to be uplifted by the promise that every loss has paved the way for an even greater gain. Here's to a future where your financial struggles are not your defining story but the catalyst for a miracle that is coming your way. God says your losses aren't the end, they're the beginning of abundance. Today, I declare this promise over your life: every setback, every financial shortfall, is merely setting the stage for an overwhelming return, an exponential outpouring of blessings that will defy all expectations. Think of Job, a man who, despite immense loss and suffering, was restored beyond measure. His story isn't just an ancient tale, it's a powerful reminder that what seems like devastation can be transformed into an astonishing comeback. Just as Job received double what he lost, so too will your story reflect a divine turnaround. This isn't a mere refund of what has been taken, it's a multiplication of every loss into a storehouse of blessings, proving that God's promises are always fulfilled. Imagine this: your bank account, once empty and depleted, now brimming with abundance, overflowing like a river that never runs dry. This isn't an illusion, it's a divine guarantee. Every dollar you lost was a seed planted in the fertile soil of your future, destined to bloom into a harvest of prosperity that far exceeds your current reality. The multiplication of your finances isn't accidental, it's the deliberate work of a God who specializes in turning loss into profit, pain into gain, and despair into hope. When you hear the word multiplication, think not of a simple arithmetic refund, but of an exponential return, a transformation that defies human logic. It's the same principle that governs the universe: what is sown with faith will be reaped with abundance. The promise is clear: your financial struggles are not the finale, they are the prelude to a new chapter marked by divine intervention and supernatural favor. This promise stands unshaken because God never breaks His word. His covenant with you is eternal, and His plans for you are designed to prosper you. Even in the darkest of financial storms, remember that God's word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path. His promises are not bound by the limitations of our world, they are infinite, as vast as the heavens and as enduring as time itself. So, envision a future where every loss you once lamented transforms into an unparalleled multiplication of wealth, a reality where your financial fears are replaced with an overflowing abundance that not only meets your needs but exceeds them. This is your destiny, woven into the fabric of divine purpose. God's plan for you includes a turnaround so dramatic that even the echoes of past disappointments are silenced by the roar of newfound prosperity. Let your heart be stirred by this truth: your setbacks are the stepping stones to a breakthrough. The promise of multiplied restoration is not a wishful thought, it is a divine decree. Stand firm in your faith, embrace this promise, and prepare to witness a miraculous transformation in your financial journey. Today, declare with unwavering confidence that your losses are only the beginning, for the best is yet to come. God isn't flaky, His promises are rock solid. In every chapter of history, we see the unwavering faithfulness of our Creator, a God who never wavers, never forgets, and never fails. Consider the story of Abraham. despite the uncertainties and challenges of his time, God restored and multiplied his wealth, establishing him as the father of nations. Just as Abraham experienced a supernatural turnaround, so too is God at work in your life today, ensuring that every setback is merely the precursor to an incredible comeback. I know that delays can be discouraging. You might have been waiting, feeling like your prayers echo in an empty room, wondering when your breakthrough will come. But let me remind you, God's timing is perfect. Even if it has taken longer than you expected, rest assured that your restoration is already in motion. Just as Ruth, with her humble beginnings and uncertain future, found hope and a new beginning through divine intervention, your path is being paved with the same careful precision and boundless love. Every moment you have endured, every tear you have shed, has been preparing you for the abundant blessings that lie ahead. Reflect on his track record. God has always been faithful. When you look back at the trials and tribulations of your past, you will notice a pattern, a series of divine appointments where his grace met your need. The same God who provided for the Israelites in the wilderness, who turned scarcity into plenty, is now orchestrating a masterpiece in your life. His promises aren't empty words, they are the solid foundation upon which the universe rests. The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases, his mercies never come to an end. Lamentations 3 verses 22-23. This scripture isn't just a comforting verse, it's a declaration of his relentless commitment to you. In the midst of your financial struggles, it's easy to lose sight of this truth. But remember, every trial has been an opportunity to grow, to trust, and to lean into the promise that God is with you. His faithfulness is not measured by the speed of the process but by the certainty of its fulfillment. Even when the journey seems long and the horizon distant, know that God is steadily moving behind the scenes, turning your trials into triumphs. Now is the time to adopt a new way of thinking, a mindset anchored in faith rather than fear. Embrace the assurance that God's promises are not subject to human delays or limitations. His word is a lamp to your feet and a light to your path, guiding you toward an ever brighter future. Trust him with your heart and your finances, knowing that his plan is infinitely greater than anything you can imagine. As you move forward, let this truth sink deep into your soul: you are not defined by your past losses, but by the unyielding faithfulness of a God who loves you beyond measure. His restoration is not just a return, it's a multiplication, an exponential overflow of blessings that will surpass every expectation. So hold on to that hope, lean into his promises, and allow yourself to be filled with the peace that comes from knowing that God's faithfulness is everlasting. His record proves it, and his word ensures it, today, tomorrow, and forever. You've been taught to see money as a limited resource, as if every dollar is a drop in a dry desert. But here's the truth: that scarcity mindset isn't God's reality for you. Instead, embrace a vision of abundance where his economy overflows with blessings, ensuring that there's always more than enough. Today, I challenge you to let go of every thought that whispers lack and to step boldly into a realm of overflow. For too long, you may have held on to the belief that money is a scarce commodity, limited, finite, and only available to a select few. That notion, however, is a lie. God's truth declares that abundance is your birthright. Imagine a life where the words you speak create the reality you live. Start each day with affirmations like, "I'm blessed beyond measure, I attract prosperity," and "My wealth is multiplying every day." These words aren't just empty declarations, they are powerful tools that shape your destiny. When you speak with conviction, you set in motion the creative power of God's promise, a promise that transforms scarcity into a cascade of blessings. Consider this: every time you fear a lack, you're shrinking your future. Fear is a barrier that holds you back from experiencing the fullness of God's provision. It whispers doubts, telling you that there isn't enough to go around. But faith, on the other hand, expands your horizon. When you choose faith over fear, you open the door to miracles that defy human logic. Faith transforms every setback into a setup for a greater comeback. It's not just about receiving what you lost, it's about receiving exponentially more than you ever imagined. So, let go of fear. Embrace faith as the driving force that propels you forward into a future of unlimited potential. Now, let's talk about practical steps to shift your mindset. Begin by challenging every thought that claims, "I don't have enough." Replace that with a firm belief in abundance. There is more than enough, and it is mine. Surround yourself with people, books, and teachings that reinforce this mindset. Visualize your bank account overflowing with blessings. Picture every challenge in your financial past being transformed into stepping stones that lead to a monumental breakthrough. Each visualization is a declaration to your inner self that you are destined for more, much more. This is more than just a change of thought, it's a total transformation of your spiritual and financial landscape. Your mind is the gateway to your reality. By aligning your thoughts with God's promise of abundance, you activate a powerful spiritual economy where lack becomes a thing of the past, and overflow is your new norm. It's time to break free from the chains of limitation and step into a future where every dollar lost is reborn as a seed of immeasurable wealth. Now, let's activate that faith for what's coming. With every positive affirmation and every brave step, you are building a new foundation, a foundation not of scarcity, but of overwhelming abundance. Embrace this new way of thinking, knowing that as you shift your mindset, the miracle of multiplied wealth is already on its way. Your journey from lack to abundance has just begun, and it's destined to be a testimony of transformation, faith, and divine overflow. Active faith means stepping forward, moving with God, and transforming expectation into action. Faith isn't waiting, it's moving with God, and every step you take in alignment with His promise is a declaration that you're ready for the restoration that's coming your way. Start by praying expectantly. Each day, set aside time to engage with God with an open heart. Do this, in the quiet of your morning, say, "God, I trust your promises, and I move forward in faith knowing that abundance is on its way." When you pray with expectation, you're not just reciting words, you're actively inviting divine intervention into every facet of your life. Your heartfelt prayer is the first step that aligns your spirit with His divine economy. Next, give boldly. This act isn't only about money, it's a demonstration of trust in the overflowing abundance of God's provision. When you share your resources, whether it's financial support for a community project or a helping hand to a friend in need, you create space for even greater blessings. Bold giving isn't a sacrifice, it's an investment in the divine cycle of reciprocity. Picture your faith swinging open the doors to divine vaults where blessings are stored in abundance, waiting to be released into your life. Then, keep your eyes open for opportunities. Divine breakthroughs often come in the form of everyday chances, a new job offer, an unexpected partnership, or a chance encounter that turns into a blessing. Actively look for these moments and be ready to step forward. Each decision made in faith is a seed sown into the fertile ground of God's promise, and these small steps today will lead to massive blessings tomorrow. Consistency is key. Faith is not a one-time declaration, it's a continuous journey. Establish a daily routine of aligning your thoughts with abundance. Write down affirmations such as, "I am blessed beyond measure," and "I attract prosperity with every breath." Repeat them until they become a part of your daily rhythm. Your consistent actions, praying, giving, and acting, build a foundation that transforms scarcity into overflow. It's natural to face doubts along the way. When uncertainty creeps in, counter it with focused declarations. Tell yourself, "I choose faith over fear," and remind yourself that God's track record is flawless. Every time fear whispers that your efforts might fall short, let your affirmations remind you of the powerful truth: faith expands your future, while fear only shrinks it. Now, let's activate that faith for what's coming. Do this, commit to taking daily steps, however small, to build momentum. Stay engaged with communities and mentors who uplift you, and always remain vigilant for the divine opportunities that will emerge. Your actions, grounded in prayer, bold giving, and open-hearted initiative, are the catalysts for the restoration that is not just a return, but an exponential multiplication of every blessing. Remember, your active faith is the engine that turns divine promise into reality. It is the force that shifts you from a place of lack to a life of abundance. With every intentional step, you are paving the way for restoration. Keep moving forward, keep believing, and watch as your faith opens the door to a future overflowing with the blessings God has so lovingly prepared for you. You might wonder, can this really happen for me? It's a question that echoes in the quiet corners of your mind whenever doubt creeps in. I understand that skepticism has a way of tightening its grip when life doesn't immediately reflect the promises you hold dear. But let me remind you, God's promises don't bend to our human limitations. His word is unshakable, and His faithfulness is proven time and again. Every promise He has spoken is a beacon of hope, shining through the darkest moments. When fear begins to knock at your door, here's what you can say: my restoration is coming multiplied. These aren't just words, they're a declaration of truth. They are a shield against the voices that say you're not enough or that your circumstances are permanent. Instead, let these words become the anthem of your heart, a daily reminder that every setback is simply a setup for a grander comeback. Trust that the wealth and blessings you seek are already safe in His hands, waiting to overflow into your life. It's normal to feel overwhelmed by past disappointments. You may have lost more than money, you may have lost confidence, hope, or even faith. But know this: every tear, every moment of despair, is not a mark of defeat but a stepping stone toward your ultimate breakthrough. God's plan for you is filled with purpose and precision, and nothing can derail the promise that He has secured for you. His faithfulness is as solid as the mountains, and His word is as enduring as time itself. When doubts arise, counter them with the truth of His track record. Remember the stories of those who came before you, Abraham, Ruth, Job, and how their journeys, filled with trials and tribulations, ended in overwhelming restoration. Their stories are living proof that God's favor multiplies even the most bitter losses into a harvest of abundance. These are not mere coincidences, they are the fingerprints of divine intervention working in the lives of those who dared to believe. To silence doubt and fear, equip yourself with the tools of faith. When uncertainty whispers in your ear, speak aloud your truth. Surround yourself with testimonies of divine provision, listen to the stories of restoration that affirm your heart's longing. Read scriptures that remind you of His unfailing love and mercy. Let these words sink deep into your spirit until they become an unmovable part of your inner strength. Now, let's transition from doubt to unshakable certainty. Consider this: every time you choose faith over fear, you are actively dismantling the walls of limitation that have confined you. It's a process, a journey of one step at a time, where each affirmation, each prayer, and each act of bold giving builds a foundation of trust in God's promises. Need proof? Look around you and recall the moments when seemingly impossible situations turned into testimonies of victory. These real stories are the evidence that when you silence doubt and embrace faith, miracles unfold. Stand firm, knowing that your restoration is not just a possibility, it's a certainty, backed by the unwavering hand of God. So today, choose to silence doubt and fear. Let the truth of God's steadfast promises fill your heart and propel you toward the abundant future that awaits. Trust that every lost dollar, every moment of despair, is paving the way for an exponential return. This is your time. Step into it with confidence and watch as faith transforms your life beyond measure. Let me take you on a journey through the power of multiplied restoration, a journey that begins with the timeless story of Joseph. Imagine a young man who lost everything, betrayed by his own brothers, sold into slavery, and thrown into a pit of despair. Yet, through every trial, God was working behind the scenes. In the midst of adversity, Joseph's unwavering faith became his lifeline. His story didn't end in sorrow, it was transformed into a story of royalty. From the depths of imprisonment to standing as the second most powerful man in Egypt, Joseph's life is a vivid testament that God's plan is to multiply what seems lost. His restoration wasn't just a return to what once was, it was an exponential overflow of blessings that redefined his destiny. Fast forward to modern times. Picture a man who found himself down to his last dime. Every door seemed shut, every opportunity faded, and hope was running low. Yet, instead of succumbing to despair, he held on to a powerful promise, that every setback was setting the stage for a miraculous comeback. In a twist of divine intervention, just when he thought his story was over, millions began to flow into his life. Not through chance or luck, but through the deliberate and faithful workings of God. This isn't a fluke or a rare occurrence, it's the unmistakable signature of a divine economy where every lost dollar is a seed that grows into a bountiful harvest. These stories, ancient and modern, aren't isolated events. They follow a clear pattern, a divine principle of multiplication that turns our greatest losses into the foundation for unprecedented abundance. Whether it's Joseph's transformation from a slave to a ruler or the modern-day testimony of a man who witnessed his fortunes reversed in a dramatic way, these examples show that God's restoration is both personal and powerful. His plan transcends time, reaching into every corner of our lives to reclaim and multiply what was once lost. Now, if you're feeling inspired by these testimonies, I invite you to take a moment and subscribe to hear more stories like this. Each testimony is a living, breathing example of how God's promises are not just words on a page, they are realities that can transform your life. Every narrative of restoration echoes the truth that no matter how deep the loss, God's capacity to multiply and restore is limitless. This divine pattern isn't random, it's a deliberate design. Think of it like this: when you face a moment of financial despair, it isn't the end of your story, it's the prelude to a dramatic turnaround. God is not only recovering what was lost but is multiplying it beyond measure, turning your trials into testimonies of victory. Each story we hear is a chapter in a larger narrative where divine favor and purpose converge. So, let these testimonies stir your spirit and ignite your faith. Embrace the truth that you, too, are destined for restoration. Your setbacks are not the end, they're the beginning of an extraordinary journey toward abundance. Trust in the divine principle that has turned rags into riches and despair into hope. Your financial restoration is not only possible, it's already in the making, guided by the very hand that transformed Joseph and continues to work miracles in the lives of countless others. God doesn't just replace what is lost, He multiplies it. In His kingdom, every seed of faith that you sow isn't simply returned in equal measure, it is multiplied, growing into a forest of blessings. This divine multiplication isn't a random occurrence, it's rooted in God's eternal design, as seen throughout Scripture and in the very fabric of creation. Consider the miracle of the 5 loaves and 2 fish. When Jesus blessed this meager offering, He wasn't merely replacing what was there, He was multiplying it so that the hungry multitude was fed, and 12 baskets of leftovers were gathered. This isn't an isolated incident, it reflects a divine principle that undergirds every promise God has made. Just as the boys' simple meal fed thousands, one seed of faith, when entrusted to the Master, yields a harvest beyond human calculation. Scripture is replete with this truth. In 2 Corinthians 9 verse 6, Paul reminds us that, whoever sows sparingly will also reap sparingly, and whoever sows generously will also reap generously. Here, multiplication is not about a refund, it is an exponential return. God's economy is not limited by what we see, His principles invite us to operate from abundance. When you trust Him and obey His call to give, your resources, be it time, talent, or treasure, are set in motion to produce far more than you could ever imagine. Think of the process as a seed planted in fertile soil. You may see only a tiny sprout at first, but with each act of obedience and each step of faith, that seed grows. Over time, that small act blossoms into an abundant harvest, a transformation that is both visible and life-changing. When you step out in faith, you are not just receiving what was lost, you are inviting God to multiply every blessing in your life. Your trust waters the seed for increase, and as that seed grows, it becomes a living testimony of His unfailing provision. Obedience is the channel through which divine multiplication flows. Just as a farmer must nurture his crops, you must cultivate a heart of gratitude, trust, and active obedience. When you consistently choose to align your life with God's truth, you open the door to a multiplication that extends beyond finances to every area of your life, relationships, health, opportunities, and more. Your willingness to trust God, even when the outcome seems impossible, is what transforms scarcity into a miraculous overflow. But remember, this wealth has a purpose beyond you. The blessings multiplied in your life aren't meant to be hoarded, they're meant to be shared. When you operate in God's principle of multiplication, you become a channel of His abundant grace to those around you. The restored resources in your hands can be used to uplift communities, support ministries, and further His kingdom on earth. In summary, divine multiplication is more than a promise, it is a principle woven into the very nature of God's work in the world. It calls you to sow generously, trust completely, and walk in obedience. Your small act of faith today can produce a harvest that not only restores what was lost but multiplies it beyond measure. Embrace this truth, let it transform your mindset, and watch as God's unfailing power turns your smallest seeds into a legacy of abundance. Your restored wealth isn't just a return of what was lost, it's a divine investment in your God-given mission. Every dollar that comes back multiplied is not simply cash in your pocket, it is power to change lives, to transform communities, and to create a legacy of kingdom impact. Imagine for a moment that the money restored to you becomes the seed from which your ministry grows. This isn't about accumulating riches for personal comfort, it's about funding the very work that God has placed on your heart. Every resource is a tool, a stepping stone to further His work. Consider how restored wealth has built schools, hospitals, and community centers in places where hope was scarce. These aren't mere coincidences but clear demonstrations of divine multiplication, a principle where every blessing, when entrusted to God's hands, grows exponentially to meet a higher purpose. When you receive multiplied wealth, you are being entrusted with a powerful mandate. This money funds your God-given mission, a declaration that shifts your perspective from self-centered accumulation to kingdom-minded stewardship. It's not just about the dollars, it's about the lives that can be changed because of those dollars. With every investment you make in the community, every outreach you support, you are manifesting God's love in tangible ways. Picture a future where your increased resources provide educational opportunities for the disadvantaged, build safe havens for the vulnerable, or fund innovative projects that bring hope and healing. This is your chance to leave a mark, a testimony that God's blessings are meant to be shared. Think boldly, what could you do with this increase? Imagine funding programs that empower young minds, building centers that offer not only shelter but also opportunities for growth, or even starting initiatives that restore dignity and hope to the downtrodden. Your restored wealth can be the catalyst for a movement, a transformational wave that ripples far beyond your immediate environment. When you operate from a place of faith, the resources you receive aren't stagnant, they multiply and ripple outward, creating a legacy that speaks of divine favor and purposeful living. This vision isn't just a dream, it's a call to action. It's an invitation to see your finances as part of a larger tapestry that God is weaving throughout the world. Every dollar is a brushstroke in a masterpiece of mercy, provision, and redemption. You have the opportunity to be a beacon of hope, an agent of change, and a living testimony of God's faithfulness. As you embrace this vision, remember that your restored wealth is not the end of the story but the beginning of a grander narrative, a narrative where every financial breakthrough is meant to serve a higher calling. The money you now hold is a resource for rebuilding, revitalizing, and reaching out. It is meant to fund your mission, inspire transformation, and impact lives in ways that echo far into eternity. Dream big. See beyond the numbers and envision a future where every blessing you receive becomes a blessing shared. Your restoration is a divine mandate to build, nurture, and change the world. And with that vision, next, let's talk about managing this blessing wisely to maximize its kingdom impact. God has entrusted you with the blessings of restored wealth, riches that are multiplied beyond what you once lost. Remember, this isn't money to hoard for yourself, it is a precious gift meant to be managed wisely for His glory. Good stewardship is the key to turning your multiplied wealth into a legacy that extends far beyond your own lifetime. First and foremost, acknowledge that every resource you now hold is a trust from God. When you recognize that God is the true owner of everything, you begin to see that your role is that of a steward. Use this wealth well by honoring Him in every decision. The Bible tells us, "Honor the Lord with your wealth, with the first fruits of all your crops," Proverbs 3 verse 9. Your financial success is not just for personal gain, it is meant to fuel your God-given mission. Practical stewardship begins with wise management. Save wisely by setting aside a portion of your income for future needs. Establish an emergency fund so that unexpected challenges don't derail your progress. Consider setting up a budget that clearly delineates your spending, saving, and giving. Tracking every dollar will help you ensure that you're living within your means and preparing for tomorrow, just as the ant gathers its food in the summer. Invest smartly by seeking godly counsel and making decisions that align with biblical principles. Whether it's investing in socially responsible companies or supporting ministries that share your vision, let every investment be a reflection of your faith. Remember that God's promise is not just to multiply what is lost, but to provide you with opportunities to grow your resources through diligent, faithful management. Equally important is the call to give generously. Do not allow a selfish desire to hold on to what you have. Hoarding wealth stops the flow of God's blessings and diminishes your ability to impact lives. As you give, you not only support ministries, charities, and those in need, but you also create an endless ripple of blessings. When you share your resources, you echo the generosity of our Savior, who gave all for us. Generosity transforms wealth into a living testimony of God's goodness. Be cautious of misusing these blessings. Avoid the temptation to indulge in excess or to accumulate wealth for its own sake. Instead, focus on what truly matters, advancing God's kingdom and transforming lives. Good stewardship is not just about making the right choices with money, it's about nurturing a heart of thankfulness and a spirit of generosity that honors God. Let your financial decisions reflect a big-picture vision. Imagine how your multiplied wealth can fund schools, build community centers, and provide opportunities for the less fortunate. Dream big about the kingdom impact you can achieve, and your wealth is handled with responsibility and wisdom. Each wise choice you make turns this blessing into a legacy that ripples out, touching lives and building a future that glorifies God. Your blessing doesn't stop with you, it is designed to multiply further through your faithful stewardship. Use it well, invest in eternal purposes, and give generously. When you do, you become a beacon of hope and a living testimony to the transformative power of God's provision. Imagine your restored wealth as a flowing river, a gentle current that, once set in motion, nourishes every life it touches. Your abundance isn't meant to be confined to your own bank account, it overflows, lifting your family, friends, and even communities beyond your immediate circle. When God multiplies your blessings, He gives you a unique opportunity to be a conduit of His love and provision. Picture it this way: each dollar you receive, each blessing that fills your life, is like a drop of water joining a vast, life-giving river. As you learn to manage and steward these resources, that river grows stronger and wider, nourishing everything in its path. It refreshes parched souls, revitalizes weary hearts, and breathes life into dreams that were once dormant. Consider the story of one woman who, after experiencing a profound restoration in her finances, decided to use her newfound resources to serve her community. With a humble heart and a bold vision, she set up a small food pantry in her village. What began as a modest effort to provide meals soon blossomed into a full-fledged community kitchen that not only fed the hungry but also became a gathering place for neighbors to share their hopes and stories. Her personal restoration didn't just change her life, it transformed an entire village. Imagine, for a moment, the ripple effect if your wealth were to be used in a similar way. Your abundance carries the power to break down barriers and build bridges of hope. Every act of generosity sends out waves that create a lasting impact far beyond what you could ever imagine. When you share your blessings, you invite God to multiply them right back into your life, and in doing so, you create an endless cycle of provision and love. "We rise together" is not just a phrase, it is the truth of our shared journey. When one of us is lifted by generosity, the entire community feels the surge of hope. Let's not underestimate the power of even the smallest contribution. Every time you give, you plant a seed that has the potential to grow into something extraordinary. Whether it's a financial donation, a kind word, or simply your time, these acts of giving are the stepping stones that pave the way for a brighter future. They transform personal blessings into collective empowerment. Your wealth is a river, vibrant, dynamic, and full of potential. It has the power to quench the thirst of a struggling community, to mend broken spirits, and to spark initiatives that change lives. As you nurture your resources with gratitude and wisdom, remember that you are not in this alone. We rise together, and through shared acts of generosity, we build a community where everyone can flourish. Today, let's commit to using our blessings not just for ourselves, but to create a ripple effect that touches lives far beyond our own. Share generously, and watch how God multiplies your gifts, transforming them into an unstoppable force for good. This is the living legacy of restoration, one that inspires hope, fuels dreams, and proves that when we give, we truly all rise together. Imagine waking each day free from the chains of stress and worry. Each morning, your heart brims with overflowing joy and deep gratitude. This is what living in daily abundance feels like. With God's blessings multiplied in your life, you no longer merely survive, you thrive. Gone are the days of constant anxiety about what tomorrow might bring, replaced instead by the sure knowledge that God's provision is constant and abundant. Every day becomes a celebration of life's goodness. Picture waking up to a quiet morning, where the gentle light of dawn fills your room, reminding you that God has granted you not just material wealth, but peace and purpose. No more sacrificing your well-being to chase after fleeting security, you are now immersed in a reality where every need is met and every moment is a gift. Enjoy it. God wants you to thrive, not merely scrape by. Let your heart be free of guilt. Too often, we carry a burden of unworthiness, feeling that we must deny ourselves even the blessings God has lavishly provided. But remember, God delights in our thriving. He desires that you enjoy the fruits of your labor without reservation. When you give thanks daily, through prayer, journaling, or simply a moment of reflection, you cultivate an attitude of gratitude that transforms your entire perspective. Gratitude is the key that keeps the river of blessings flowing, turning each ordinary moment into an opportunity for joy and renewal. Adopt habits that nurture this abundant lifestyle. Start your day with an affirmation of thanks: I am blessed, and I live in daily abundance. Allow this declaration to set the tone for your day, reminding you that every good gift is from above. As you go about your work, your relationships, and your leisure, infuse each action with a spirit of generosity. When you live generously, you create a cycle of blessing, not only for yourself but for everyone around you. Your wealth is like a river that nourishes everything it touches, transforming lives and communities. Celebrate the new normal that abundance creates. Embrace the reality that your life is now characterized by peace, provision, and purpose. Instead of clinging tightly to every dollar, share your blessings freely. Imagine the impact of your generosity. One person's restored wealth might lift an entire family out of hardship. Your overflowing joy can inspire others to trust in God's goodness. In this way, living in daily abundance isn't merely about accumulating wealth, it's about sharing it to create a legacy of love and hope. As you continue on this journey, let each day be a testament to God's faithfulness. Every morning is a fresh start, an invitation to live fully in the joy of His provision. The abundance you experience is not for hoarding, it's meant to be shared. When you give, you witness the miracle of blessings multiplied, transforming your world and the lives of others. Today, step into the light of your abundant life. Embrace the joy, shed the guilt, and let your heart soar in gratitude. This is your moment, live it with exuberance, and build a legacy of lasting generosity that reflects the goodness of God. Your wealth today shapes tomorrow's world. Every dollar you steward, every blessing you embrace, is a seed planted in the fertile soil of future generations. Imagine a legacy not measured in fleeting moments of personal gain, but in the lasting impact your abundance creates, a legacy that transforms lives, uplifts communities, and echoes through time. Legacy is more than just inheritance, it is the mark you leave on the world, the stories that will be told about your family's commitment to goodness and generosity. Consider families blessed for generations, whose influence radiates far beyond material wealth. Yours can be next. When you invest your resources wisely and give generously, you lay the foundation for an enduring impact. What mark will your abundance leave? This is not a question for tomorrow, it's a challenge for today. Rise up and see your wealth as a tool for eternal impact. Every act of generosity, every wise decision about your finances, contributes to a future where your descendants can experience not only comfort but also purpose. As you work diligently and invest with vision, remember that building a legacy is about shaping a world that reflects the values you hold dear. It is about ensuring that every blessing multiplies to create a tapestry of hope, prosperity, and spiritual abundance that your family, and those you touch, will cherish for generations. Start now. The choices you make today determine the opportunities available to those who come after you. Build something eternal. Whether you choose to support education, uplift the needy, or invest in transformative community projects, your actions set in motion a chain reaction of positive change. Do not wait for a future that may never come, every moment is a chance to invest in a legacy that matters. Let your vision be bold and expansive. See beyond the immediate gratification of personal wealth, and picture a future where your abundance fuels innovation, compassion, and growth. Imagine a family where each generation rises higher than the one before, where your children and grandchildren inherit not just material resources, but a spirit of generosity, resilience, and purpose. Picture communities thriving because of your contributions, where opportunities flourish and lives are forever changed. Now, with passion and determination, make a final charge, build a legacy of multiplied wealth that transcends the boundaries of your lifetime. Embrace the responsibility that comes with your blessings and let every decision reflect the eternal impact you desire. Your wealth is not an end in itself, it is a powerful instrument for change. Invest it wisely, give it generously, and let your heart guide you in creating a future that shines with hope and possibility. Rise up today with a clear vision for tomorrow. Let your abundance be a testament to a life lived with courage, purpose, and unwavering faith. As you continue on this journey, remember, the legacy you build is the greatest gift you can leave for the world. Now is your moment to build something eternal, rise, and let your legacy shine. From loss to legacy, your money is returning multiplied, this is your divine turnaround, a fulfillment of promises spoken over your life. Today marks the culmination of a journey from despair to overwhelming abundance, where every setback has set the stage for a greater comeback. Your past losses are not a verdict but the very soil in which the seeds of future blessings have been planted. It's time to claim what is rightfully yours. Chosen one, this is your season of unstoppable abundance. Imagine a life where every challenge has been transformed into a stepping stone toward prosperity, where the very money you once lost is now being returned to you with interest beyond measure. In this moment, let the truth resonate within you. God's promise is not just to restore what was lost but to multiply it, enriching your life in ways you never thought possible. You are no longer defined by the hardships of the past, you are defined by the glorious future that unfolds before you. Now is the time for bold action, no more holding back, no more doubts. Your financial restoration is not a distant dream, it's a present reality waiting for you to embrace it. As you stand on the brink of this transformation, lift up your heart in your hands in thanksgiving. Let gratitude be the wellspring from which your abundance flows. Every act of generosity, every wise decision, every moment of trust in God's promises builds the legacy you were born to leave behind. Look ahead and ask yourself, what mark will your abundance leave on the world? Picture families blessed for generations, communities uplifted, and lives transformed because you dared to step into the fullness of God's provision. Your wealth, multiplied by divine grace, is not merely for your comfort, it's a catalyst for change, a tool to build something eternal that will echo through time. I call upon you now, comment 777, to claim this blessing, share it with a friend, spread the word, and declare your readiness to receive and multiply these gifts. Your restoration is a call to action, an invitation to move forward with unshakable faith and a heart full of gratitude. Let this be the rallying cry that unites you with others who have experienced similar miracles. Together, we rise in abundance, together we build a legacy that stands as a testament to the faithfulness of God. Step into your restoration now, it's yours. Let every decision, every investment, every act of kindness, be a reflection of the abundant life that has been secured for you. Embrace this reality with joy, knowing that every blessing returned to you is a seed for a brighter, richer future. May your life overflow with multiplied riches, may you build a legacy that transforms lives, uplifts communities, and endures for generations. It's done. Amen.